In this module, we'll take an in-depth look at the normal takeoff procedure for the Cessna 150M. The normal takeoff procedure can be divided into three basic sections: the takeoff roll, rotation and initial climb to 1,000 feet above ground, and finally, the transition to the cruise climb. Let's now take a look at each part in greater detail. We will begin the procedure with the engine run-up and before takeoff checklist down to the line completed. The takeoff line items, which will be covered next, should be completed when the aircraft is ready to be taxied onto the runway. Whether departing from a towered or non-towered airport, always check to make certain that the approach area is clear prior to crossing the runway hold short markings. High-wing aircraft such as the Cessna 150 can obscure the pilot's view of arriving aircraft. Therefore, it is suggested that the airplane be angled slightly toward the final approach course for better forward visibility. Once the approach area is checked, the line items should be accomplished. A natural cockpit flow pattern should be used to ensure everything is completed in an orderly process. Begin by checking the mixture set for takeoff. For typical density altitudes, this is usually full rich. However, for takeoffs at high density altitudes, a full power run-up should be performed and the mixture adjusted for maximum RPM in accordance with the pilot's operating handbook. Next, ensure the carburetor heat is off by physically verifying the lever is full forward in the cold position. The landing light should be turned on for all takeoffs and landings, day or night. It should remain on any time you are operating within 10 miles of the airport, or whenever additional visibility is needed, such as when flying through congested areas. TimeBuildUSA aircraft are equipped with LED landing lights for greater brightness and longevity. If the aircraft is equipped with optional strobes, those should be turned on as well. Remember that the navigation lights must be on for all operations, day or night. In short, all exterior lighting should be on for every takeoff. Next, set the transponder to the altitude reporting mode. Finally, once the aircraft is aligned onto the runway, verify that the heading indicator and magnetic compass agree with the runway direction. It is also good practice to note your takeoff time. As with any takeoff in any aircraft, there are a few important things you'll want to check before the aircraft leaves the ground. When full power is applied, verify that the static engine RPM limit is within the normal range. For the Cessna 150M under ISA conditions at sea level, the RPM should indicate between 2460 and 2560 when the aircraft is stationary. If the pilots suspect that the engine is not producing proper power, the takeoff should be aborted and the cause investigated. Verify that the engine instruments are in the green. This only requires a quick glance down to the engine oil temperature and oil pressure gauges to see that the pointers are within the operating limits. Finally, note the airspeed indicator shows positive movement within a reasonable period of time from the start of the takeoff roll, usually within a few seconds. If the airspeed indicator lags or fails to show any movement after the aircraft has been accelerating, a pitot blockage may be at fault. One very good rule of thumb to use in assessing takeoff performance for shorter runways is the 70-50 rule. That is, during the takeoff acceleration, the aircraft should reach 70% of the rotation speed no later than crossing the halfway point of the total runway distance that it was available for the takeoff. In the case of the Cessna 150, the pilot should observe at least 35 to 40 knots indicated airspeed by or before the halfway point. Rotation of the Cessna 150 is conventional, requiring a positive pitch input at 50 knots indicated airspeed to achieve positive rotation. Once the aircraft leaves the ground, the pilot should adjust the pitch attitude for initial climb at 68 knots indicated airspeed, which is the best rate of climb at sea level. VY should be maintained until 1,000 feet above ground level. At 500 feet above ground level, the pilot should ensure that the flaps are retracted by checking the flap indicator in the left door post and visually verifying the flaps are retracted. While the normal takeoff configuration is flap 0, short field and soft field takeoffs can require flaps. In addition, a go-around will also involve flap retraction. Therefore, it is good operating practice to always make a check of the flaps at 500 feet. For aircraft equipped with the 3-color altitude bug, and with the airport elevation properly set under the red bug, The green bug will indicate 500 feet above airport elevation, which serves as a handy reminder. Also check that the engine is performing properly by ensuring that the throttle is full forward and has not creeped back. Check for proper RPM and verify that the engine instruments are in the green and that the carburetor heat is cold. Continue the initial climb at VY to 1,000 feet above ground level. At 1,000 feet above the ground, pitch the nose down slightly for a cruise climb speed of 75 knots and retrim. When time and altitude permit, complete the after takeoff checklist by verifying that the flaps are retracted and that the engine instruments are in the green. Lastly, extinguish the landing light when clear of the airport area by at least 10 miles. This completes a discussion of the normal takeoff procedure. Now let's go to the cockpit and see the maneuver performed through 500 feet AGL. The ground run-up and before takeoff checklists have been completed with only the line items remaining. The non-towered airport radio call has already been made. Mixture rich. Carburetor heat is cold, landing lights are on, and strobes are on. Transponder set to alt, area is clear. Takeoff time is noted at 5:24. And compass alignment. Good. Okay, static RPM is checked, engine instruments are in the green, airspeed's alive. 50 knots, rotate. VY 68. Adjust for wind on the upwind leg. This has been a presentation of TimeBuildUSA. TimeBuildUSA offers exceptionally clean late model Cessna 150 aircraft to pilots for extended rental periods. Now you can have access to your own aircraft for days or weeks at a time. Visit us online at TimeBuildUSA.com.